this is really, really happening. After months of abandonment, that's right, the Bassmaster Elite Series is back in your life. And what better way to kick off 2023 than one of the most fabled fisheries on the planet, Lake Okeechobee. And while we're talking about fabled fisheries, let's talk about a fabled family. Scott Martin atop the leaderboard with 26 pounds and an ounce. I'm joined by the Hall of Famer, Davey Height. When you look at that leaderboard, I mean, Scott Martin was a pick going into this, but to do it on your home body of water is so tough. Speaking of that home body of water, tell me about Lake Okeechobee, Davey.
Well, Lake Okeechobee is over 700 square miles of fishable water, but unfortunately this week it doesn't seem to be nearly that big. But we're right here at Scott Driver Park on the north end of Lake Okeechobee. Great fishery, beautiful weather. The days are warm and the nights are nice and warm. I think we'll have fish coming up throughout the week. It's going to be very interesting, but not surprising, like you said, to see Scott Martin on top of the leaderboard here this morning.
That, what you just said, you know, it doesn't seem as big as it normally is. Why do we always hear that about Okeechobee?
Well, it all depends on clear water clarity, and where those fish spread out from. And you know, there's a lot of talk. Zona talked this morning about it a little bit, he had talked to Scott Martin and Kobe Krieger, some people that have been here for many, many years, Bernie Schultz. You know, there's lake fish, and then there's fish that live in that clear water around the edges. Those lake fish, for some reason, are very, very hard to catch. But if you can crack that safe, so to speak, and figure out how to catch some of those fish offshore, and I saw some anglers doing that, then it could be one like that. Other than that, most of the time when you come here to Lake Okeechobee, you search for that clearer water, the good diverse vegetation where you've got a mixture of different kinds of vegetations, cattail, reeds, hydrilla, little hyacinths, that sort of thing. That's what you look for. Unfortunately, when you find that right now at Lake Okeechobee, you find about 40 other bass fishermen.
Well, it's been 5 months. I mean, Michael, our producer, has not talked to either of us in 5 months, but he's telling me in my ear it is time for the Toyota Midday Report. And let's start it with a generational angling icon, Scott Martin.
Yeah, it's just really incredible to see Scott Martin and watching him this morning, how excited he is. He's accomplished, you know, one of the greatest anglers in the sport. You have to look at his history over the last 20 years. He's had so many wins. He's had big wins. And to lead here on day one at Lake Okeechobee is very, very special for him. You could tell that in his mannerisms, how excited he was. You know, he's caught 1,000 fish just like this from this exact same lake, but that particular one, absolutely amazing for Scott Martin. He's got about a 5, a 6, and then this might be the 8-pounder. He caught about an 8-pounder. Fishing a top water lure, a double prop, like an X-prop type lure. I don't know the exact mate, probably homemade. We'll find out more about that tonight from Scott, but not surprising to see him doing well.
Oh, let's join our reigning and defending Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year. And I'm going to throw it out here right now and upset the rest of the elite field. I say he's going back-to-back this year.
Well, he has to have a decent finish here. If you remember, this has kind of been a very difficult place, and there's not many places throughout the country that Brandon Polnick seems to struggle sometimes, but it has been right here in South Florida, especially Lake Okeechobee. I heard him say before the tournament started, I just don't need to try to make things too crazy. I just need to go in there, and if you look around when he catches this good 5-pounder this morning, other boats in the area. I think he's tried to crack that safe, like I said earlier, and it's very, very hard to do. I think Brandon Polnick, he doesn't usually fish like this. He usually fishes to win, not only Angler of the Year, but each and every tournament. But I think he's playing it a little more conservative, not afraid to be around some boats here this week.
Over to a guy who literally came one bite away from beating Polnick for that Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year race, and that is Brandon Lester. A lot of people saying this is going to be his year, and he doesn't have a hard time in Florida.
He doesn't, and we've all been waiting for Brandon Lester to win an Angler of the Year or a Bassmaster Classic, and everyone is saying it's his time, And it's great to have a camera with him along with Brandon Polnick here this morning, and Scott Martin. I mean, we've got great anglers on camera here this morning. You see here Brandon Lester catching this fish. He loves to fish Florida. He does very, very well here. Unlike some of the other anglers, including myself back in the day, he loves to fish very, very slowly. He likes to settle down, fish a worm. You know, he's very diverse, fishes a lot of other baits, but he loves to fish in Florida. He's had a lot of success down here, fishing slow with soft plastics, and you look at that. That's the way to get it going. The thing that's exciting about this afternoon, a lot of the anglers said in practice, hey, it was a lot better in the afternoon than the mornings for us.
That's a freaking gem.
Brendan Lester kicked off that incredible season last year that had 2 wins, but kicked it off right here in the state of Florida with that open win. Said it gave him the confidence to fish free, and man, what a season he had. Only Elite Series angler to cash a check in every tournament last year. And Brendan Palnick, the Golden Child, is hooked up.
Oh my gosh, please stay on there.
Live right now.
Perfect timing, Brandon.
Oh.
Really good fish, it looked like. Oh, yeah. Yes, yes. See a little bit of wind there. They did not have that this morning.
Please stay on there.
Should see some moving baits come into play a little more this afternoon.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, that's important, but you should know he's got a new color scheme on his boat, Davey. Idaho Dust Storm. Wow. And it's working.
Oh, that was a surprise.
Vibrating jig. Certainly
Didn't
not a
expect that
surprise.
bite. I was hauling, trying to get over to another area. It's another good one. Oh. Got 2 at the right bites. Man.
Idaho Dust Storm.
Maybe
It's
I
the color
should slow
scheme
down
on his
because I caught
jersey
a
and boat.
5-pounder right over there in practice.
So did he tell you that, or you know what an Idaho dust storm actually looks like? The color.
Well, I'd have to
Maybe
keep that
I
to
should
myself,
just
Davey. Do a little
ease up
Googling.
for a second. Oh.
No, he told me about it before he did it, and I tried to talk him out of it, to be honest. I'm like, I think your red and black is really you, and then I saw his boat, and I was like, yeah, once
That
again,
one
Brandon
caught me off
Palnick
guard.
is much wiser than I.
I agree with you, though. It's unusual for an angler like him after so much
I mean, my
success,
rod
and he's
just
been out here a long
stopped, and I
time. He
said,
still seems young,
wait a
but he has been
second.
out here a long time, and
That
to
reed is
establish
giving
that
me
red and
head
black,
shakes. That one was pretty lucky. That was a little lucky.
Here,
I think I'd change colors maybe after a bad year, not after a AOI.
oh, you're a professional angler. You change colors. It's very easy to get you to change colors.
The color
Just
green will make you
write
change
a
colors,
check.
won't it?
No, he actually said, and this is how he's such a weird, deep-thinking young man. He said my jersey was really. He said it was really cool. He said and everything, and the red and everything it worked. He said, but I feel like it was more. I was trying to be what I thought people wanted me to be, and he said this represents more of my roots.
He's more of an Idaho dust stormy kind of guy.
Yeah. Four box, Palaniuk, Martin,
Well, 2 of the right
Christie,
bites.
and Hackney.
Just give us 3 more of those, we'll be all right. I only need 5 of them. We get 5 like that, can't complain. Hard to complain if we can do that. Looks like there's another little entrance right here. I can't believe that fish bit. Just a little ditch goes somewhere. Well, I have always loved earth tone colors, right? Your greens, tans, browns. Growing up in North Idaho, like I fell in love with those colors, and I became black and red and white because Rigid Industries, LED lighting, when they became my title sponsor in 2013, those were their colors. And they were with me for a long time. They were my title sponsor for 5 years, and I was with them even longer than that. And so I just kept the black and red, and it kind of became my thing, but it wasn't ever really my thing because I always loved these earth tone colors. So this year, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just make the switch, and I like it. Changed up the boat wrap, the truck wrap.
all I can think about right now, Davey Hyde, is there is someone on like Bass Boat Central right now heavily typing, I can't believe I turned in the first day and they're talking about an Idaho dust storm. Talk about fishing. Talking about fishing, we can talk about this guy, Scott Martin. What an unbelievable day. He came into this event, and we kind of talked about it. Only guy really with pressure on him. It's the first event of the year. But, man, he's got a great opportunity, and he is seizing it so far in day one, Davey Hyde.
He really is, and congratulations to him. A lot of pressure on him. I can only imagine. I had the same pressures when I'd fish my home lake, fishing the B.A.S.S tournaments. You just put a lot of pressure on yourselves because you want to perform around your family and your friends. And you could see that in Scott this morning, so good for him. Had a great start, mixing it up a little bit, had an area to himself, which is always a great thing to have here in Florida. And I think he laid off of those fish. So if he does not, help his weight any this afternoon, I don't think it's because he's run out of fish. He's just kind of mixed it up a little bit.
Still feeling good. I mean, like I said, there's a little bit of me that's kind of just staying here to block it. Not block it, but at least see if anybody gets in here. I've got other stuff to run, some more community hole stuff, so I'm really just trying to learn if I can find a few more little zones. And we caught all our fish, literally all of our fish, in one little 100-yard stretch. There's another 100-yard stretch in here somewhere, I'm sure. You kind of figure that out. So I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. I mean, this is all new to me. I didn't really fish it much at all. Checked it in pre-practice, and so they weren't in here at all then. They've moved in, obviously, now. So, just got to mill around. I think that's our best chance, I can go out there in the middle with all the boats drifting around. All I'm doing is catching fish I don't need, or I'll do that later if I have to. So I've got a long day tomorrow, short day today. We're going to leave here around 2 o'clock. That's about an hour and a half. And that's what we'll do. So I don't know if I'll get any more bites on this topwater, but these clouds are here, and the wind's here. I should get another bite on this topwater.
Topwater has certainly been the magic bait for him this morning. Perfect conditions for it. So calm this morning, warm nights. And that is, that's one of a handful of baits that every time you come to Florida, you need to have tied on. You need to have it on because those bigger fish can't seem to resist that bait on certain days. Tomorrow they might not like it at all. It changes from day to day, but when they're biting it, you need it in your hand.
Scott Martin made some big changes in the offseason. Said he felt tired on tour last year. Said he had ballooned all the way up to 240 pounds and lost 45 pounds in the offseason.
Really?
He said, and it was his goal to go into this season feeling healthier than he has in his entire tournament career. And he said, when I make the first cast this morning, I do feel that. All I thought the whole way through it is 240. That's a goal weight for me.
That's incredible to lose 45 pounds in the off season. Yeah. He had to do a lot of work.
Paul,
a lot of discipline.
I don't know that he was trying to lose any weight, but he did an intense training during the off season. Said my arms were getting tired at certain tournaments when I was cranking. He said, and just the fact that I would be distracted by, it wasn't debilitating pain or anything like that. But the fact that my mind would distract and think about that, he said, I think I can be better, and did this ridiculous mountain climbing fitness. It's nuts, really. I mean, you think that young, I would be so disconnected. I'd be like, I'm a 2-time angler of the year. Woohoo!
So we got to talk more about that. Lee Livesey was on your podcast just about a week or so ago, and he's just the opposite. I want to hear what your thoughts are on Lee Livesey.
Yeah, not a lot of training for Lee, but Polnick's done a lot. I mean, I'm doing a lot here today on a body of water that has proved, or not a body of water, but a state that has proved to be his nemesis in the Elite Series. Finished below 100th on 17 when he won Angler of the Year. But, man, a good start here will give him the right momentum as he tries to defend his progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year title here on the fabled fishery that is Lake Okeechobee.